And we are live. Guys, welcome to the Let's Talk Fishing video podcast. My name is James. I'm going to be your podcaster. My guest tonight, I've had on probably 3 or 4 times and a couple times even recently. But this guy fishes for absolutely every fish there is, which is kind of like me. You know, I love, people ask me what my favorite kind of fish is. Well, the favorite kind of fish is the one I have hooked right now.
Yeah, that's it.
Which one is my favorite kid? When they were growing up, my favorite kid was the one who was behaving the best right now.
Yes. I can relate.
Without further ado, I give to you Shawn Sparr, multi-species angler from the great state of Michigan. How are you doing tonight, Shawn?
Doing great.
So springtime in Michigan. What a magical time to be up there, man.
It's awesome. All the rivers are starting to flow. The ice is starting to be gone, and I'm just getting more and more excited.
I bet you are, man. I remember the first thing I would fish for when I was living up there by Wordsmith Air Force Base in Oscoda would be northern pike.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
As soon as the ice came, we'd be up there with dead. I'd go around and I'd find dead minnows, even if they were like nasty. I'd put them on the hook and cast them out so gently so they wouldn't fall off the hook.
Yeah, because they're getting ready to go spawn. They're putting the feed bag on.
Yeah. Pat Allen and Jeff Sands have already checked in.
Nice. You guys.
Welcome, guys. Thank you. So what's the first fish you're going to fish for this spring after the ice goes out?
Definitely going to start off with walleye right off the bat. Going to get out there and I'm going to do some walleye fishing, jigging, and do some early season whipping this year. I'm going to try it. It's something that works. And then it's going to be the same thing though, because in the daytime I'm going to go fish bluegills and crappies as well. I'm a nut, man. I'm going to go in the daytime and I'm going to go out for my bluegills and crappies, and then right before dark I'll go out and jig, and then I'll whip at night. It's just and then spring coho too. So I bet you.
What do you mean by whipping?
Whipping. What'd you say about it?
Explain what whipping is to the people who don't know.
Okay, so whipping is you anchor up your boat. You find whatever depth you like. There's so many different people that's gonna want different depths. Typically, between 14 and 18 foot of water, early spring, and you anchor your boat. You got 1.5 to 2 ounce sinker to all the way up to a 5 ounce sinker, depending on current. Typically, you're gonna 2 ounce sinker is what you start with, to get the feel for the bottom. 18 to 20 inches off the bottom early spring, and then you put a 3-way swivel, and then you're going to run a 6-foot lead to one of these right here to they're all. So here's an F11 Rapala that's been hit multiple times. As you can see, it's probably caught over 300 walleyes.
Oh yeah.
So that's made by John Latham. He paints all my Rapalas are painted by him. Then I'm going to go down to an F9. Behind that, we're going to piggyback another 6-foot lead. There's going to be one of those on there. A lot of guys like to use pencil plugs in the front, stuff like that. But when you whip, you're just sitting there and you're working the bottom back until that fish grabs a hold of it, and then you just reel it. It's a meat game. You pound.
So this sounds like hand lining.
It's hand lining, setting still.
Hand lining, setting still. So do you use a rod?
Yeah, you do use a rod. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I got some friends. I told you, I used to live right on the Illinois River. Those guys from Michigan would come up and they would rod line and hand line.
Oh yeah, yep. Hand lining's a killer game too. I love doing that, and that goes on. You can get walleyes like right now that they've been knocking walleyes, whitefish, and cohos out of the park, jigging. But here's the thing with that, like. Our spring starts off so awesome because you got your crappies and bluegills and perch. You got your walleyes, your cohos, your whitefish, your steelhead. There's so many fish to fish for right off the bat. You can fill your freezer before the end of April and then be done for the year if you want. But I just get choosy. Because I don't want to be done for the year. I want to fish all year.
We have that same problem down here with, you can go out and catch 60 trout, and you can keep 15.
Yep.
I'd like to do something now.
Okay.
Sword fishing products.
Good night.
Yeah,
you're opening
man.
it, the grand opening right now.
Yeah, the grand opening. If this has been sitting on my house for a week, I want to go fish. Well, this weekend we're supposed to have, tornado warning, so I'm not going to go fishing, of course.
No, not a good time.
Tornadoes only happen on days I'm going to fish.
Right. I
Oh,
heard
check
be
this.
very I heard be very careful with those knives when you open them.
Oh yeah,
That's what I
check
hear.
this out, man.
That's a beautiful handle.
Check that out.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice knife.
watch this as I cut myself live.
Oh wow.
Look at that. Could you imagine trying to fillet something like a man?
That'd be perfect for salmon.
Yeah, I know a salmon charter who said that he went most of the year without putting a new edge on it.
Wow, nice knife.
I can't wait. Redfish are very difficult because they have scales just like a carp.
Oh yeah.
And
Tough.
I'm sure you've never filleted a carp, and neither have I.
No, I never have. But they got scales about that big. But here's a whipping rod. This is a whipping rod. So that is a beautiful knife.
Go ahead, man.
So here's your whipping rod. Just a short rod. This is actually only 4'2". This rod.
4'2".
4'2". Yep.
That's a midget.
And if you see, I still got it might be a little tangled here, but I'm still set up. I'm ready to go in the water already because I like doing things quick and easy and getting out and getting fishing. So there's my drop to my 3-way swivel. Okay. With just a cannonball, 2 ounce.
Yeah.
And then I got my leads here. They're you just got it on the eye here. So I'm gonna undo it from the eye and check this out. This is how I like to get out there and get fishing because I don't like to waste no time. So
No.
I just pull this out. I'm gonna put my lure on that snap. I'm gonna send it back. I'm gonna caught it there. And then there's where my second snap comes in. So I'm gonna hook my second lure, it's gonna be my front lure actually there. I'm gonna send that back, and now I'm in the water fishing that quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I'd like to.
You're just bouncing the bottom, but your hand lining setting still, and they just dead stop you, man. They just wham.
Wow. And we have a couple comments I'd like to talk about. First of all, it's International Freshwater Fishing Hall of Famer Jim Grant. And speaking of rods, Jim Grant makes the best rods in the world, man.
I just actually reached out to Jim Grant.
He said, great to have your expert knowledge on the show. And also, Connor Boss, speaking of.
Yeah, I talked to Connor myself, too.
Shawn, let's go. Thank you. Thank you, Connor. Thank you for this.
Yeah, I tried to get myself one, too. We're going to try to work something out this summer.
Yeah, we'll work on that. Work on that. Me and you are just giving him publicity right now, man. This is. I just want to show this one more time, but then we will move on. Check that out, guys.
I love that. And I like how you had to use some effort to get it out of the case. That makes a huge difference.
Check that out. You could clip that on your jeans. You could clip that on a pocket.
Yep, that is cool.
Yeah, you got to watch out when you're pulling that out of it. Yikes! I could just see. With my luck, I'm going to end up cutting off a finger.
It's not going to come out easy. That's good. I like that. I
still have all 10.
You're all good right now.
For now. Yeah. So what you're doing is called whipping. So you anchor yourself down.
Right.
And you sit there. Did you sound? You go down, hit the bottom, and pull it back up, and go down, and hit the bottom. So
naturally, we'll say the current. You know how the current is going downstream pretty quick. We got a fast current here. So you're letting line out, and then you hit the bottom. And initially, you're gonna hit the bottom once or twice, but then as you get back farther, you're gonna get 2 or 3 bounces in, and that's what you want. You want 2 or 3 bounces, move it back a foot. 2 or 3 bounces, move it back a foot. So usually you're going sideways like this, And if they don't bite going sideways like that, you just lift it and twitch it. There's so many different ways and so many different presentations. It's crazy, but it's absolutely a meat game. Like it's a big time meat game. I'm talking you can catch 100 walleyes in a night easily. Easily.
And up to 10, 12 pounds, huh?
They can get huge, yeah. I mean, some of our walleyes are pretty big early spring. They're getting some big ones right now jigging. Typically, they're running around 5-6 pounds.
Yeah.
But your average keepers are 18 inches. You know, that's
sure.
Me and my buddies when we go out fishing, we tend to like the 16 to 18 inches. You know, we like to keep 16. Let's say 16 to 20 inches as our eaters. That's what we like to keep. And we're allowed to do that. We can be picky like that because we catch so many. It's that if people come over here walleye fishing, it blows their mind. I have people come from all over the place.
Absolutely. You know, that's what I'm trying to encourage people to do, particularly down here where we have, you know, there's so many fish. I mean, so many fish in the marsh. They sit there and gobble up fish, but gobble up food all day and they get huge. But I tell people you can impact the fishery because, you know, as we get better and better at fishing.
Right.
So keep the youngins, man. Keep the teenagers.
Yes.
You know, like the speckled trout. Keep the speckled trout that are, you know, 16 inches rather than 22s.
Absolutely, and that's typically what we like to do, and they taste better. You get the perfect amount of meat off each fish, and there's a lot of guys that only get to fish on a weekend, you know, and they might only have one good day to fish that weekend. It might be storming on Saturday, but good on Sunday, so they keep whatever they can. Me, I fish every day. I fish whatever day I want to fish, so I pick and choose what fish I want to keep. Just like, you know, right now, me and my buddy Thomas, we're going to go jigging on Saturday. And when we're jigging, I pulled out a few colors here. And I want to show you I want to show you some cool.
Some stuff, man.
Yeah, so look at these jig heads here. DJ's Tackle makes these. DJ's Tackle, they're in Sterling Heights, Michigan. They'll make any color you want. And these are colors that I told him to make, and he nailed them. So that's my 1 ounce heads. And I got my casting heads, too. I like to cast. So I got my 3/8 ounce heads, and so I've got the 3/8 ounce heads, but right here, the Thumpum plastics and this Glow Wonder is what I'm going to use because we're gonna tear them up on this because there's a little stain to the water, and as you get most soft plastics, as you know, if you vertical jig for walleye, they're kind of stiff.
Could you show those soft plastics up really close? I'd like to see those.
Yep, like this. I'm going to show you.
Oh yeah, there it is. That's like salt and pepper. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I love that color.
It's actually called the Glow Wonder. And here's one out of the pack, okay? But most of these, you get a lot of stiffness to them. But these guys, you don't even, I mean, they just wiggle just by talking. I mean,
you know how good that would be down here? How long is that? Is that like 3 inches long?
This is a 3.75, and this here is a 3-inch right here. So
those would be fantastic down here for trout.
Yes, and the vertical jig bite is on fire right now. It absolutely is. Like I said, they're getting walleyes, cohos, steelhead, and whitefish jigging. I mean, what better day can you have than going out and jig? And we're supposed to have some 68 degree. It's not going to last for a very long time, but this weekend is supposed to be warm, 68 degrees, which is crazy warm for us this time of year. And we're supposed to have a good wind, a south wind like southwest at like 5 to 10, so it's gonna be perfect for jigging. And we're gonna go out and we are gonna I'm gonna do a good video. We're gonna put on a clinic, man. We are, and I'm excited about it. It's gonna be my first walleye trip of the year. But as I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about Harson's Island, fishing the ditches over there because the bluegills and the perch are going nuts. And you know, he makes Thumpum Soft Plastics this is actually a color shifting bait. This thing changes colors as you turn it in the light. It's crazy. That's a crazy color. This White Wonder, that's a good color. And the Wax Wiggler, that's a 1-inch. And then these two he made, I said, man, you got to make 2 colors for me. I want one to be called Midnight Jazz. And this is what the color looks like. And if I had a UV light, I'd show you. But these things, man, they've got greens and oranges.
Look at that.
Yeah.
In a whiptail, huh?
Crappies and bluegills tear that up, and then that one's called the Orange Assassin. And
We just got a question here. Breton Zitka from Minnesota said that he needs metallic blue.
We've got lots of metallic blue colors. Here, check this out. This is is he talking like a walleye bait?
Hey, Breton, are you talking a walleye bait?
He makes them in both panfish and walleye, but there's a.
Ooh, look at that. See, I love that color.
Yeah. And he makes so many crazy colors. You just check out his page and then look up John Latham on Facebook. I can just reach in this box and pull out colors, and I've got box after box that are full of like some of his Rapalas he paints and he signs the bottom of them. They're just gorgeous, man. And
I used to call those the walleye spots.
Yeah.
That last one you just put on there?
Yeah.
Because I caught so many walleyes on stuff like that.
Oh my gosh! And the colors he made.
Lake Erie?
Yep, Lake Erie. Trying to put this back here. There's one particular color I wanted to show you. He if you look up John Latham on Facebook.
See, Bandit's making a lot of colors like that.
Yes, and John paints. He does. You need to go look at John Latham's page because you're big into bass and those trout. And he does everything, every type of bait you can think of, thin fins and all your bass baits, your wiggle warts, all that stuff. He paints everything. Bandits, bombers, he paints it all. Matter of fact, I don't know if they'd be in this box. I don't think they will be. I can't reach all the way down. These boxes are so big, but I mean the colors. There's so many, and he's. It's just wonderful the way he paints things. And if you look at his page, just go look up John Latham on Facebook. His company is called Lure Horde, but his name is John Latham on Facebook. That's where he posts all of his stuff. It will blow your mind, the color combinations and what baits he actually paints. It's crazy. And that right there. John Latham. That right there. Like, here's some that I won't even put in the water because he stopped painting these years ago. And like they're just not going to see the water. Yeah, they're not going to see the water. I'm not going to put these in the water because he don't paint that color pattern no more. It's colors you can never get again.
I had a custom painter in Illinois, and I would have to pay. I would have to buy the lure, and then I would have to pay him to strip the lure and paint it. And I just wanted them all painted pink because in the Illinois River, pink, the little ones.
And here's what's real crazy about this. A lot of guys think these are going to cost you $20. Now this one right here, these ones I just showed you did cost me $20. Okay, because these are Finland Rapalas. They're the old school,
the original balsa wood. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's why they cost you $20. But these ones right here, you go to the store and buy a stock Rapala, it costs you. If you're buying F11, it's going to cost you $14.
Yep.
He's charging $15 for a custom color.
$15, and you don't have to give him the. You don't have to give him the.
No.
The Rapala.
You go tell him what you want, and he's got it for you.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Because it used to cost me over $20. And that was back when the small ones. I think the F9s.
Yep. These are what these are. I run a lot of F9s because it's like the ultimate. Like there's a gold barb. That's the black-headed Barbie. Okay, that's a black-headed Barbie. Now that color is absolutely, it's an incredible color. He's got a whole Barbie series. He's got so many colors. If you go look at his page, you're going to be in awe and you're going to buy lures. It just happens. And he will ship them right to you. And like I said, you're not breaking the bank and spending $25 for a custom painted lure. He's not out to make a killing off you. He's out to, and he's well known. He knows most of the pro anglers, all the old time custom lure painters. He's in real tight with Bomber themselves. So he's the guy to talk to. He's an old timer and he does a good job. I've learned a lot from
Bomber.
him. Yeah, Bombers. Yeah.
That takes me back.
Yeah.
Wow.
We still use them. People think that they stopped working or something. I'm like, no. They still.
Just, geez, man, I wish I had a brain. Because taking me back to all these lures I used to use, and
he's got lures.
I wish I knew their names.
He's got so many lures. That's why he got his name. He got his name why he calls himself Lure Whore. He got his name because he was with an old guy, and the guy was a musky lure guy, which John has a bunch of musky lures too, like the old Ziggies and stuff like that. John's really good friends with Steve Zola, who made the Zola pencil plug, who also makes musky lures. And so they were at a garage sale, and John bought all the lures, everything that was there, and the guy said, "Man, you're a lure whore." So that's where his name come from, and that's why it's stuck. But just look up John Latham on Facebook; it'll blow your mind. It will blow your mind. Just look him up.
John Latham, guys, look that up, and also Brenton Zitka, look up Thump 'em Soft Plastics.
Yeah,
Thump 'em Soft Plastics, Brenton.
Yep, his phone number's right on the bag there.
He said he wants to put something on the back of a jig. It's 1/4. And look for Thump'em to be a guest on this show soon. I've been trying to get a hold of him.
Yeah.
If you're watching, just hit me up on Facebook.
There's so much to talk about.
I'd love to have you on.
And I'm going to hook you up with this guy.
So much to talk about.
I want you to I want you down there where you're living. I want you to cast some of these Arctic spinners, man. I'm gonna hook you up.
You know where that would do really well? Alaska. I told you I lived in Alaska. Every time I casted for cohos, when they were coming in, I would catch the silver ones on that. And if I used the little beads like everybody else was using, I'd catch the ugly, almost dead things.
Yeah, the boots. We call them the boots.
The things that yuck. You can't. I don't care, man. You can't even smoke those to make them.
Your dog won't even eat those things, man. A coyote won't even touch them.
The meat actually turns white.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, those are also. No, but people do. Yuck. Okay, guys, we're experiencing some technical difficulty. But if you lose me, just keep talking.
Okay.
I'll come back.
All right.
Okay, I think we're done with nonsense.
Oh, there he goes. He's gone. It's okay. He'll hop back on, guys. Don't worry. There you are.
Please tell him to market that up in Alaska, too, because those guys go crazy over those kind of things. It's the best silver salmon bait there is. But also down here, I want to try those for the speckled trout.
Yeah, and he makes them in all different sizes, 1/4 ounce, 5/16, half ounce. So I'm going to have him send you some. Personally, I'm going to have him send you some. It's going to be free of charge, and you're going to try them and give him feedback. He'll send you some out. Yep. He's a great guy.
That looks like a great. So you use that probably for steelhead, don't you?
Yep, steelhead. Here's another crazy thing. That thing will catch crappie all the way up to a muskie, salmon, steelhead, everything in between. But I use it mostly for pike and bass. It's a great bait. It's a great all-around bait to take. Yeah. If you're just going up like Black River here and you're going to hit some log jams and some fallen trees, cast it up in there because you're going to catch your crappie, you're going to catch your pike, your smallmouth, your largemouth, right off the same log off that bait. Them baits are awesome. They are an awesome bait.
I always forget about
all my
sponsors and how much fun I had
and
with those.
All my sponsors are awesome, and a lot of guys will just talk about their sponsors all the time, and I've tried some of those products. I don't promote nobody if their stuff don't prove, because I'm not going to have my subscribers on my YouTube channel buying something that I'm not going to use. So that's how I went through some sponsors
absolutely.
to figure out who I'm going to keep around, and that everybody I stick with, I want everybody to have the same experience I have. Yeah, there you go.
This right here, missile baits. I love missile baits. This right here, Mojo shrimp. I've caught thousands of speckled trout, and man, I've caught a 10-inch speckled trout, and also I caught a 35-inch redfish on this. Same size.
Jeez.
Also, the matrix shad. I've caught thousands of redfish, and check this out. I know you're a fan of swim baits.
Yes.
It's another company I promote.
Oh, nice.
Look at the way that moves.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And that's what you were saying. I don't like stiff lures. I just don't. I like lures that move. So I can put this underneath a popping cork, and it will just sit there and do this in the tie.
Right.
I agree with you, man. That's why we get along. I don't promote lures and fishing equipment. How about Grant rods, man? Jeez.
I'm trying.
I use Grant rods.
Oh my gosh.
Use them.
I messaged him. He's actually Jim's in the hospital, he said.
Yes, he is. He's in the hospital. He's been in and out of the hospital for the last 6 months. He's having a horrible time with his health. Thank you so much, Jim, for coming on my podcast when you're in the hospital.
Absolutely. I just sent him a message. I just messaged him. I'm talking about his rod.
Time of the year when Jim's in all the sports shows, and he's personally there to talk to you. They have 100% guarantee on the rods,
Yep.
Can't beat with that. Razor one time, I broke a rod. In the back window of my car, of my SUV. I had the rods kind of cockeyed because I had somebody in there, and they put the window down. It went, think.
Oh.
Then she put the window back up and snap.
You cut it off.
I looked at my stepdaughter. You just broke $100 rod. And her eyes got big. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Oh, I said, man, stuff happens. I'm
it
so
does.
careful.
I don't have a razor rod right now.
Pat Allen wanted me to ask you about the 5-inch Thump'em soft plastic.
Yeah, they come out. He come out with a 5-inch bait. Gonna be great for lake trout. People are catching walleyes on that 5-inch bait too. He makes them in a 5-inch too. So yeah, he's got them he's got every size you can think of. So check out Thump'em Soft Plastics on Facebook, and you can go through his inventory that he has there too as well.
Man, it would be so much fun to jig up a lake trout. I've caught him casting. I caught him casting in Alaska from the shore. I've also caught him while fishing for steelhead in Berrien Springs, Michigan. But I've never, I had a friend who wanted to take me jigging in Lake Michigan, and right off of Chicago, they catch those in the springtime.
Yes, you can jig them anywhere, wherever their lake trout are at. You can jig them. Yeah, they're just.
I can imagine, man, that how a salmon trout fight.
Yeah, oh yeah, yep. And 30-pound fish, 25-pound, 30-pound laker comes up there spitting out gobies. I don't eat them. I give them to the guys that go fishing with me. They want them. They can smoke them. They can do what they want. They are good smoked. But I'm spoiled. I'm gonna have a cooler full of coho. I'm good with that.
Little ones.
Yes, the 16, 17-inch cohos. I am perfectly fine. Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe that. Pat Allen said that there was 5-inch. They would rip the redfish. But Pat, here's what I catch most of my redfish on. Look at that little bitty thing.
I love that bait. I love that bait. I'm gonna have to get me a bag of those baits because even though
MojoTackle.com, yes.
Mojo
actually, tell them you know me.
I'm gonna write this down. Mojo Tackle. I'm writing it because I want a bag of those. I want to try that out.
The guy who owns the company, his name is Greg Campbell. I talk to him at least once a week.
Okay. All right, I got it written down. I got that. That's all set. I'm gonna order me a bag of those. I want to try them. I bet you I'll catch some walleyes and crappies and everything else in between on those too. I know I can do it. People always say, "Man, how do you always catch these fish all the time?" It took me. I challenged myself. Yeah, look at that thing, man. That is crazy.
See,
I gotta get some of those. I'm gonna have some of those. Matter of fact, you'll see me making a video on my YouTube of those. Look at that.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
I usually put this underneath a popping cork, and it will sit here like this underneath a popping cork.
Wow.
And a lot of people like to pop the popping cork, but what I like to do is cast it out against the shoreline and just walk it down. Just let it go, because it's moving, so it's doing this. So this thing is just,
Yeah.
And
I
where
bet
they feed heavily on
you
strip
catch everything from a crappie and smallmouth to a walleye and a salmon right on that thing. I bet you.
Oh yeah. One of the things people up in Alaska would use is market shrimp for salmon.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's what they're used to using. That's what they're used to eating. But down here, particularly in the cold water season, they're after the small shrimp.
Okay. See, we
There's a
don't
big
have
shrimp going.
we have little freshwater shrimp. We don't have shrimp, but I bet you I can make that bait work for whatever I want to catch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. That's just a little thing wiggling around, particularly down here, in Florida, we would use live grass shrimp for crappie.
Okay.
And of course, also we'd catch shell crackers, and those are the biggest bluegills you could possibly imagine.
Shell cracker. Yeah, that's a monster bluegill. That's a bluegill on steroids.
And Dad and I would go through the canals where he lived. He lived right on Lake Eustis, which is on the Harris Lake chain. And we would just listen. And you could hear the little snails popping when the shell crackers were actively feeding. And then we would stop and pull out the rods and catch them.
Oh, yeah.
A lure I wanted to tell you, the Hottentot.
Hottentot.
Storm lures.
Yep.
I'm sure they don't make those anymore, but that was something I used a lot back in the day.
No, but John Latham has a lot of them, and he does them in custom colors too, and he has the stock colors as well.
And the Storm Thunder Stick Juniors.
Junior Thunder Sticks. And Latham has a bunch of those too. It's crazy you're saying these things, because those when they used to write Junior Thunder Stick on the side of the bait, not these new ones, when they wrote Junior Thunder Stick, the pre-Rapala, those are the good ones. Those are the ones you want to get. And the only way you can get them anymore is on Amazon, eBay, or John Latham. That's the only way you're getting them, or find them at a garage sale, luckily. Yeah,
if you're lucky. If you're lucky, yeah.
If you're very lucky.
Yeah, the Storm Thunder Sticks, the DJs, the Deep Juniors.
Yes. Man.
Or the original, just the small ones. Because like with your whipping, we would do stuff like that. But we would use two rods and just have one lure on them. And sometimes I would have them in a succession, one lure, then I would tie to the clevis. I would tie a leader that long to the second, about 18 inches back to the second bait.
Right. And also another thing going on right now is trolling for coho in the river and in the lake. The coho are going nuts. They're hitting body baits, flicker shads, thin fins. I get them all from Latham because he paints them any color I want, and he's got stock colors that you can't get no more that always have worked. They stopped making them, which I don't know why companies do that, but he has those. And here's a secret I ain't gonna tell many people.
Yeah,
this lure right here, it's got crushed glass in it. It's actually got crushed glass in it. And I'm gonna troll this. It's got a pink line here that's UV. And I'm going to troll this, and I'm going to challenge myself right now. I bet you I'll catch 100 cohos on that by the end of April.
Well, in that clear water, that crushed glass is going to iridesce.
It does
sparkle.
Big time. So that's one of my secrets I just give out to all you guys that know me that are watching. You better have that lure.
Yeah, you said I'm not going to tell many people, but about 1,500 people are going to watch this. So
yeah, exactly. Yep.
So don't tell anybody. That's what I tell people. If you want to keep a secret, do not tell a podcaster, because by definition we have big mouths.
Right. Hi, Peyton.
Is that your daughter?
Yeah, she's over here making a mess.
That's what kids do.
Yeah, Mama's got her. Oh. But yeah, man, I love living in the state of Michigan. We're blessed. I look out here. St. Clair River's right here. Lake Huron's right here. I'm right where the Blue Rider Bridge is, and it's right where Lake Huron meets St. Clair River. And I go 25 minutes to the south. I'm on Lake St. Clair. I got a creek in my backyard that loads up with steelhead every spring, pike every spring, crappies every spring.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing some steelhead fishing real hard here real soon. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, not only are you blessed to be in Michigan, but you're blessed to be in one of the coolest parts of Michigan.
Yeah, I get to,
because if you go, I bet if you went 20 minutes inland, you could be on a smallmouth bass stream.
oh my gosh, we got man, St. Clair River, Lake St. Clair is known for the smallmouth bass fishery, but St. Clair River is loaded with huge smallmouth bass, and I do videos every year just off the boardwalks where people are walking by with their kids and their dogs, and I'm pulling out giant smallmouth, just wham wham. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Michigan.
Some of the biggest smallmouth bass I ever caught.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest smallmouth bass I ever caught were in creeks that were hooked up with Lake Huron. I mean,
absolutely.
Guys, Lake Huron is on a different scale. It does not get pounded like Michigan does.
No.
I mean, it gets pounded. There are a lot of people who fish it, but not like Lake Michigan. Not like Lake Erie. Not like Lake St. Clair.
No, not even. It's not even a fraction. You can go out to any buoy, and you can just go pull big smallmouth out of it. It's crazy, and people, even myself, take that for granted a lot because we want to go get walleye, we want to go get salmon. My kids though, they're like, let's go get bass, let's go bass fishing. I'm like, take your buddies and go. But I'm going to do that this year. I'm going back to my old roots. And I'm going to do like I used to do when I was a kid. I'm going to go fishing in the creeks. I'm going to go fishing in the hidden lakes in the woods. I'm going to go out to the buoys on Lake Huron and catch smallmouth and big perch. And I'm going to go along the boardwalk and jig up them big smallmouth bass that are down there and walleyes in between and salmon. We are lucky where we live, where we get to fish.
That's one of the things I used to do when I was in the Air Force. I bought a little canoe because, I was enlisted in the Air Force. I had no money. So I bought a canoe that had been beaten up and I refiberglassed it, put some new seats in it. And I would just go to a topo map and find, I was in the Huron National Forest. So I would find a wilderness lake and I would go up to where I thought it was and just drag my canoe through the woods until I found it. Then, fish. I would catch northern pike, largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, perch.
Absolutely. There's so many crazy, and people drive by ditches all the time, and they don't even realize what's in that ditch. It's just a ditch on the side of the road. You wouldn't think there's nothing there, man. I'm going to pull me a big old pike out from underneath those lily pads. I guarantee you. It's just crazy. Spring
the
fishing
ditch right
is
out in
here.
front of Selfridge Air National Guard Base. I caught some of the biggest catfish of my life in that ditch.
And crappies go up in there like you would not believe in the spring. Big old white crappies, man. Man. And like you said,
there were hundreds of people fishing for those crappies.
Oh yeah.
Hundreds of people fishing for those crappies.
You know what? It kind of died off. There's nobody that does that much no more there. And they're still there.
Really?
Yes. They're still there.
That's their loss, man, because that's their loss.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And that's one of the hush-hush things. Yeah.
Because some of the crappies I caught, like you said, I got so spoiled because I would catch 12-inch crappies. I go back to Illinois and then I started guiding and people would pay me big bucks to catch 8-inch crappies in Illinois. But that's what's there,
Yeah. But you know what, man? There's crappies in general are a good eating fish. Perch. And that's another thing, I've had friends come from out of state and bring me fish, and they're like, man, this is good. And I'm like, that's a different taste. It's good. It's not bad. But, man, then they eat the walleye. They're like, oh, my God, that's the best fish I ever had in my life. But walleye is typically, it's great fish.
My favorite fish to eat out of Michigan was always perch, yellow perch caught through the ice.
Oh, yes.
And I like to eat them the day I catch them because their meat is so firm.
And pretty soon here we got the smelt run coming, so we're going to be smelt dipping. We're going to have this.
When I was up in Michigan, I'm sorry, you're getting me excited here.
I seen.
I was smelt dipping up at the mouth of the Osable River in Oscoda, Michigan. And one of my friends came up to me and he said, Jay, check this out. He had an 8-pound walleye. And I looked at my buddy I was smelt dipping with. I'm like, you want a smelt net for $5? He's like, yes, give me a 5. And I gave him that smelt net and never went smelt dipping again because that night I caught 2 walleyes, bigger than anything I ever caught in Canada. One 6-pounder and one 7-pounder.
Nice fish. Very respectable fish.
And out of cold water. So, man, I took those things home. Hey, Cajun Rebel.
Yeah.
I took those things home and filleted them. And, my wife was like, what are you doing at midnight frying fish? I'm like, you got to try this.
Oh, yeah.
She was a bartender. She got home and she was like a little tipsy. And she's like, you're eating this late? I'm like, try this, man. You're going to love me.
Yep, absolutely.
My dad brought me fish. I'm like, yeah, nah, stupid catfish, man. Your dad gets catfish. These are walleyes.
Yes. We're so blessed where we live. We're lucky. We're lucky. And I say this to so many people. We're lucky. People don't realize it, but we're lucky. Guys that live in Michigan, we're lucky.
You are. You are.
We are.
You live in one of the coolest, you live in the coolest place.
For multi-species that you can fill your freezer with, take and just enjoy the whole year. There's never a stop. You don't have to stop. Even during deer season, so many times I've been in the middle of the deer woods, and I come out midday, and me and the kids grab a rod. We're fishing the ponds in the woods, catching great big bass, and it's all year here. You can fish the whole year. The whole year you get to fish. Ice fishing's phenomenal. Then spring fishing. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped.
When I went up to Wordsmith Air Force Base, I remember, I'll never forget listening to my first wife on the phone. He has fished every day, and we've been here for 8 months.
Yeah.
He hasn't missed a day yet.
You don't have. Why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you?
The shores of Lake. I lived, a mile away from Lake Huron, a mile away from the Au Sable River. If I went a mile that way, there was Van Etten Creek, Van Etten Lake.
Yeah, you gotta fit. There's so many different runs in there's so many different fish that run at different times of the month and year. You gotta try to fish them all while you can, so you might as well fish all year.
I knew I was going to have to go back to the real world. For me, the real world was in Illinois.
Right.
And I got back to Illinois, and I went into a depression.
I bet. Oh man.
And I started making money, and the first thing I did is buy a boat, and I brought the boat home, and she's like, where'd you get the boat? I bought it.
I'm going fishing.
Yeah. What are you gonna do with the boat? Fish.
Yep. Same thing, man. It's just we're blessed, and I love talking about it, and I love this podcast because it's called Let's Talk Fishing. What better podcast can you come on?
Yeah.
We're talking fishing, man.
And we can talk any fish, man. I love it.
Yeah, we're talking fishing, and that's what I love about this podcast. And we always get a lot of good views, and people keep sharing, and they'll message me months later. I'm still getting messages from the first podcast we did. Well, what about this you were talking about? And I have to go back and watch because I'm like, well, what are you talking about? And then I'm like, oh, okay. And it's crazy, man. It's just your podcasts are awesome. I love it.
And the one thing I like about where I live now is I can fish. In 2.5 hours, I can be on the marsh, which is saltwater, and catch a variety of fish down there. And that's great fishing in the wintertime. Or in an hour, I can be at like 4 different places I can fish for largemouth bass. And if I go an hour north, I have a chance of catching a 7-pound largemouth. If I go 3 hours towards Texas, I have a chance of catching a double digit.
We don't have that big of a. I mean, we probably do, but they're rare. Very rare.
Hey, Clinton McClinton, the Facebook Live guy, just checked in, and so did Cajun Rebel. Cajun Rebel's I'm on Responsible Anglers United with him.
Okay.
Great guy, super guy, does a lot for the fishery down here, and Clinton McClinton does a whole bunch for the sport of fishing. He said, yo, Jay, happy hump day. Your celebrity is one heck of a guy. Fish Shawn's chicken and gravy. That's what he calls. He's a character. I love him, man.
That's awesome.
You're a spoiled brat.
Yes, I am. Tell him to follow my Facebook page, Shawn Sparr. I got my YouTube here that's going through the screen, but follow Shawn Sparr on Facebook. I post all. You see what I post. You see
Shawn
what
Sparr.
I post.
Yeah, he's always posting pictures. Clinton, you love his Facebook, man. Also, check out one thing I have not talked about: YouTube. Sparr's Outdoors, guys. YouTube, Sparr's Outdoors. It's on the bottom crawler at the bottom of this, whatever you call.
It's going across the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, the bottom of the screen. Like I told you, I got no brain.
I mean, when I start talking fishing, the only thing that I think of is fishing.
Yes. So you ask me
I'm
about
thinking like now that we did this show, tomorrow I'm getting out the river rods. I'm going to go set in my vehicle, cast the river rods out with the 2-pound weight, slide me down I'm just going to reach in the box and grab out one of these colors right here, slide it down my line, and catch cohos in the morning. Watch.
Wow.
You'll see a picture. I'm going, and I'll get them.
Well, it's 45 after the hour. As much as I don't like to do this, do you have any shout outs you'd like to do?
Yeah, huge shout out to Thumpin' Plastics, John Latham. Remember, guys, check him out on Facebook, John Latham Custom Rapalas. And anywhere you reach in this box, you're going to pull out something amazing, because he's painted it. And they're tore up with teeth marks for a reason. And check out John Latham on Facebook, Thumpin' Plastics on Facebook, Arctic Spinners, Old Saw Angling, the best scents they make right here, Old Saw Angling Scents. And DJ's Tackle for all your jig heads, any size jig heads you want. He's awesome at what he does. He does a wonderful job. And a huge shout out to all my supporters and fans that have been with me since day one, Pat Allen, everybody. And a shout out to you for putting up with me all these times on all these podcasts, man. And those sword fishing, even though I don't promote sword, but I'm going to have me one of those knives, and then maybe we'll support them. Maybe we will be.
That's what I wanted to do one last time, man.
Yeah, jeez. I like that. A lot of people don't like that, but that's safety right there.
See, I like that sound. Sounds like a samurai sword.
Yes, that is
Thank
awesome,
you to
man.
Sword Knives. Thank you, Sword Knives, man. I will promote you guys.
I'm gonna try. I'll get them on board.
Jeff Sands just said, Shawn, I'm going to Metro tomorrow to see if there are any perch in there in the Black Creek.
There is. Parsons Island too.
Okay. Well, guys, it's 6:47, 7:47 Shawn's time. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out. I am not fishing this weekend. We're predicting tornadoes.
Oh.
And you know what? Tornadoes only come when I'm supposed to go fishing. I swear to God, I know I don't have that kind of power. I'd live in a better house if I did. And I'd have me a 23-foot center console with a 300.
Yeah, that's a must-have. You got to get that anyway. That's something you just got to get when you retire.
Check this out, Cajun Rebel. Cajun Rebel just said that. This is Sword, S-O-R-D. Cajun Rebel eats a lot of fish.
I'll get them on board. I'll have them watch. Sword will send me a knife because you've seen how many flay videos I've did.
Oh yeah.
They'll love my promotion.
They will. But guys, man, it's Wednesday. If it was any regular Saturday, I'd be going fishing. Remember, make your plans. Get out there, because in your last days, you're not going to remember you're not going to be sitting there telling your wife what a great time we had watching Breaking Bad. You're not.
No.
You're going to be talking about the memories you made. You're going to be sitting there with your sons talking about that time you took them walleye fishing and he
Absolutely.
caught a 9-pounder, man, or you're going to be, one of my fondest memories, the first time I ever watched my son catch a nice size. My son caught a 19-inch sauger one time on the Illinois River. And
beautiful.
Man, I have never shared a picture so many times.
That's a big sauger. That is
yeah, man. He cleaned that up. Did I do good, Dad? I'm like, I was yelling at my friend because he was on that side of the boat. Get in that.
Yeah.
Matt's got a giant. Matt's got a giant. That's the memories, man. Those are memories. Yes. And that's what fishing is about. Fishing is more than just fishing. It's about who you go fishing with and the memories you make doing it.
Absolutely.
I've met so many cool people doing this podcast, and that's why I do the podcast, guys. I love podcasting. I love you guys who come on and comment. I love cutting up with guys like you, Shawn.
Oh yeah.
I love talking fishing and figuring out stuff. But anyways, with that, stick around, Shawn. I'm going to end the podcast.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, everybody.